Hello, my monstrosities. Hello once again. Today I'll bring to you the flip side of the coin. So, I have the take that Veto won't do that much in pro play because pro players are better. Uh, and it reminds me just like KO. I'm telling you, it reminds me just like KO, where everybody's like, wait, if you take away an ability and the ability shooter, that's just shoot. And then nobody played KO to the same extent. Now, I have this video probably in a longer format, but it was time for lawn work to be done, so that recording has that in the background. I might release that as an extended cut if people really want to see it, but I'm going to try to go faster here because it's really simple on the combination of characters that I think that could make Veto worth picking compared to another Sentinel. Maybe even double Sentinel, but I think it's harder to justify picking Veto as the second Sentinel than it is picking Veto as the solo Sentinel, because if you're going to go double Sentinel, you might as well have double the stopping power with things like Deadlock or Sage in combination with a Cypher or Killjoy compared to a pretty selfish Veto. But coming all there, let's get through this for the most part so you can get the gist of it. Also, why am I making this video? Because it keeps me up at night that I drafted the exact same Fnatic Lotus comp as they did, but I didn't put it anywhere, so it's only up to me to know that I came to the same conclusion. So that's why I'm going to be releasing things like this, probably. So let's get into it. Veto. All right, Interceptor is the main thing I want to talk about. We're going to be putting one here, here, and we're going to be putting one back here. Okay. That way I can remember to talk about C. And we're on Haven because I feel like this is probably the quickest one to visualize this type of stuff. We're going to be putting crosscuts. Actually, we're going to start with the Interceptor before I get ahead of things. All right. You put the Interceptor here. This is for defense. This is for retake. We'll come to things like that. You put it here. It covers pretty much all the things you need. Somebody trying to throw something in this corner, probably going to get intercepted. Somebody tries to clear it back here, probably going to get intercepted. Now, you don't have to be on that site as Veto. You could just not be there. Instead, you leave KO here. Leave KO here, right? And KO, after calling, hey, I need something intercepted, throws a knife. Throw it here, or you get a little cheeky with it, throw it down here. That means that they weren't going to throw any more util into the site for 9 seconds while interceptor's up, right? And then in response, on the wind down of interceptor, you throw this to see if they pushed up to get ready to throw some more shit. And then you knife them, and then they're suppressed. Now, ISO may also come into play, so I'm going to leave this here for my memory. I'm going to leave Gecko here Harbor here, just so I can keep track of things that I'm going to talk about. And Neon. Because Neon is immediately the thing that I kind of want to go into after this. The main thing that I think could be annoying with Veto as to why you would pick Veto over other Sentinels is if you're picking KO as well. And I know, I just said, but you didn't pick KO because abilities, but then you double down on it, right? And we like doubling down on shit. Will KO be solo initiator? Probably not. But again, this also comes off of the back of assuming that you're on a Haven and they're not playing things like a Breach that they probably will be playing, uh, which has util to stop, or that can't be stopped by Interceptor, right? So going through all of that, right? I guess talk about Tejo too, since I did mention Breach. Um, but all of that, that's the main gist of things. I think that that's the thing. Where's KO again? And then on the retake, same situation. Somebody tries to throw something. You tell them, hey, don't do that. You throw a knife against the wall. Hey, they can't do that. You throw it down here. Probably this corner if you're playing pocket. Down here. Hey, they can't do that. All right. Especially if it's smoke, just Make sure that you aim for the dot against the wall. Well, there's no more overworld pings, but you understand what I mean. You know where to throw it. It's not that hard. Um, you can't do that. Now, coming back to just a setup on Haven, right? If you were to do this, all right, your Veto pre-round, teleport up here, pick it up, throw it back here, put your other teleporter somewhere here, in case KO says, hey, I need backup. You could throw chokehold here to know that if you do rotate off because they know that what you're doing, they didn't lurk through B. Or, you feel that you need to go the other way, make sure that you save one for here, possibly just keep that one there to cross or hold it, but the other one goes somewhere like here, right? If in case you need to rotate. That's the gist of if I think Veto would be annoying. You can also do something, and again, it really depends on the map of where they're going to be, because if you try to play KO, let's say KO comes over here to C. If you try to KO knife after breaking Interceptor, you better have the lineup that hits around here or here. Now this lineup actually isn't that hard to forget, but hard to remember. What the fuck? No, why did I say forget? But isn't that hard to learn to throw? Put it there. It'll cover, as you can see, this chunk of shit. So, KO Veto Haven maybe a thing. Uh, really has just need to keep an eye on B and Garage at that point. But let's come to this slew of agents over here, because this is where I think things could be a little bit silly. Uh, you're trying to retake. Now we're actually going to go in order of importance, actually, because Gecko. I want to talk about Gecko too, because I think that Gecko getting any of his abilities intercepted tells you, bam, there's an interceptor in play. Time to enact the things that you need to enact to get around it. We'll get to that in a second, but first let's finish talking about the things that might make Veto annoying. All right, C long is being played. Just imagine it. Stick with me here. Could do it on A2, but stick with me here. C long, spike is down, people are here. All right, cool. Gecko, wingman on the plant, interceptor here, so no util is going to pop wingman off. Then ISO, who also has the suppress. Again, maybe if KO's down or whatever. Wall, save the wall. I guess just go that way. Make sure that Wingman can't be shot. Also have Harbor, who has a Cove at this moment. Don't know if that ability is sticking around. I guess we'll see. I heard that comes out next week. Cove there. But Neon. What did Neon have to do with everything? Well, here's the counterplay to Interceptor. Now, maybe not Neon's wall specifically, because it seems to be bugged, where out of all the walls, it's the one that has like a weird stop and break point by Interceptor for whatever reason. But you hear Interceptor go off anywhere, and you just wall. Neon has been getting played on Haven too, so wall, go through the wall, swing out, pop it. Now, you also run the risk of doing the thing that happens to Neons, looking down the wall, being ready to look down it and try to shoot the Neon. Or the Neon just does the wall and doesn't go through it, sees if anybody swung. There you go. You have a wall for a little bit to then pop where the interceptor pops something from. That's the gist of what I think for that. And I guess let's come to Tejo too, because Tejo, especially with something like an Armageddon, gives me the next thing that I want to talk about, especially if you cleared the site. Say you knew that you had Armageddon up, so you cleared the site to retake. This is literally just Sea Haven long talking, right? But again, all of those things that could have been applied to Wingman, while you have your hands free or whatever, everybody else can fight, while Wingman chunks through, doesn't take any bullets because of Cove or ISO wall, or and doesn't get abilities dumped on him because of Interceptor, as well as being off of the ground. So things like Nano Swarm, I think, still don't break. I haven't double checked that one, but say everything that you could have said for Gecko. Apply that to being an ult as Veto. Somebody throws a cove on you. Hell, maybe you are playing a double sentinel comp, but you are playing like the are they really sentinels? Where's Sage? Where the fuck is Sage? Sage wall here. All right, cool. We already know that the Sova that was being played on Haven was getting real confident that they had ult, so they were just going to do that, but they didn't realize that you had ult. Or the Astra. I guess I should have put Astra. That's one that I definitely did forget to put up here. Uh, Astra Wall after you clear out the site with an Armageddon. Any of these combinations, and then having Evolution up could be one of those things. And the better thing about Evolution is that it's one of the few ultimates in the game. I think the strongest thing about Evolution is that it's one of the few ultimates in the games that you can time damn near perfectly. Funny enough, I say that though. KO does kind of counter that null command starting from here. I if you're playing on top of boxes, this happened to me. This is why I know this. If you're playing on top of boxes, that pulse hits pretty fucking quick by the time your animation is going off. So yeah, you can't stay there. You have to like know that they're about to do that. And that's imagining that the KO started it there and not from up here from Cubby. Um, so KO on the flip side can hurt Veto, but that's one of the few things about evolution is that you can time it for when you actually need it. Do you think that there's a realistic chance of you having your health back, you win some more gunfights? Go for it. But if not, if you see that the enemy team has Sova, Brimstone, and I'm talking from a pro play perspective, not ranked. Well, I mean ranked too, kind of whatever. It's better than Reyna in the fact that Reyna you're going to keep wanting to get more. Veto, you're like, all right, they placed lockdown, and I know that I still want to hold the site. All right, cool. That it's one of the few abilities you can pop in response and actually save for when the moment is right. So evolution, all right. I know that the Sova is going to try to Hunter's Fury thing, whatever the fuck he says. I can't remember right now. Hunter Fury, the fucking plant. Everybody played off after we pushed them off site. Whatever Vito's line is, pop evolution, jump on the spike. It's cool. Again, these are agents that you will see on something like a Haven, and that's the very quick, rough and dirty version of what I think could make Veto an option to be picked in teams. It's the combination of Veto plus KO. That's not taking into account the fact that you could also have Teho Drone that can go see maybe the other place that KO missed with the dart. See, instead of saving it for retake for whatever reason, right? Uh, See if there's a suppress that needs to happen that way. Or after they've been suppressed with KO, Interceptor still down because of cooldowns. Maybe see if they're really going to try to re-hit again, re-clear it, drone, throw it back there. Don't think that's going to happen, but just saying you could. And coming to ISO, who also has a suppress, same thing. Now, especially this one, if you do want to do ISO Neon, I guess, and you could throw the wall on top of Neon's wall, so that way you don't get shot down it. But who also has a suppress, for a couple of seconds, right? Same degree as KO suppress, pretty much, but also has a suppress. Or hell, even if you know that you have the site and you don't have evolution up, and you think that there's a chance that they might try to Hunter's Fury you. All right, go ahead and suppress them and make them look stupid. All right, all of that. So I think suppressing on top of Veto Interceptor might be the thing that could be annoying. ISO has two suppressors he can toss out. KO has a rechargeable suppress that could be a thing. And that's not to say that you don't also just go for the, bringing a Viper wall that can go in and up and in and out, up or down. That, you know, for whatever reason, you call, all right, Viper, throw your shit from B across. Uh, I intercept it, then I threw knife. They're not coming in anytime soon. Cool, whatever. Then throw orb. Let's say orb goes garage. Yeah, where can you throw this motherfucker so that it's not terrible? As soon as barrier drops, play the window. I guess throw it right against there. Throw it there, or the more realistic one, right about there. Probably, I guess. Where can you even? Where can you be to rotate through all of this? If you're start garage, throw it. Play against boxes, throw it there. I don't know. Or you have Viper and KO double up on A, maybe. And then take this the other way around. Take that the other way around. Do it like that, maybe. But that's the rough gist, and that's just going through something like Haven. We're going to clear all of this. Clear all of this. And again, it really comes down to the maps because a good portion of them you can't really catch them with the KO knife and call it a day. You would have to do something like on Road, you kind of can, right? You can kind of just throw it here, but even then, you see, it's like, all right, throw it perfectly at that spot, you catch this. They could just, in response to knowing that if they're a Sova, and here's the big thing that comes down for my mind with Veto, is even if it is a Sova who throws a recon dart that does get shot out by an interceptor, right? It's going pew, gets shot out. The Sova could have thrown it here, or some good Sovas have lineups from across the fucking way, and it could just be a deep fake, or just could be missing on top of that. But also, they could throw it at an angle that interceptor doesn't catch because it goes too high or anything like that. But coming back to the thing that could be annoying, KO knife against the wall after something gets intercepted. That's something that in response, and then after that, Viper wall goes back up. Sure, let's continue the narrative of bringing Viper into this comp. Yeah, sure. So that's the things that I think could make Veto annoying. It could also be a nice pairing, and some, again, coming back to having both of them. All right, let's bring your icon over here. Now let's say that Veto pops Evolution for a take, the same way that KO, the same time as KO bringing Null Command. So you have somebody to trade off of. Instead of just sending KO by himself, you have somebody that can play with the KO who can underhand flash some things. You go in and kind of trade back and forth. However, this isn't a new thing that's possible, or I guess it is new in the sense that Veto's sense of it is being new, where you can't be flashed by an underhand flash with the KO that you could play together with. But you could have been doing KO ult into something with Phoenix ult into somewhere all this time as well. You could have been doing that the entire time. You could have been doing. This is one thing that I would like to know. I think my hunch about initiators being kind of nerfed is that instead of double initiator being like a suggestion, it might be needed. And the pairings of them might switch. You know how you have a Sova and a Breach, a Tejo and a Breach? I think you might end up just seeing people double down, pro teams double down with the one element that they really like compared to in combination with Vito's release and 11.08. There's a chance, a slight chance, but you might start seeing the Sova fade. You might start seeing the Sky fade. You might start seeing the Tejo Sova, something like that. And especially if we see Tejo Sova, I think I'll do a separate video for that. But it's to say, you always could have done any combination of KO, Phoenix running it down together. But if you have all three of them together, uh, whoever's ult comes together, you could do that. And another thing that I've been looking at is throwing Gecko in the mix as well. Somebody to follow up Thrash, who, if you're too close, you get detained too, but something like that could be interesting. You know, Phoenix run it back, following after Thrash. Is that could be one turn? Just like that, you have Sentinel Initiator, Duelist Initiator, so we need smokes for a comp. Let's say, fuck it, just to continue the running it down, let's bring in Clove, and they have their. The fuck is this called again? Damn, I cannot remember for the life of me right now what Clove's uh, come back to life is. But just for any combination, this could have been done for a while with these four. But maybe this is actually a run it down comp that could happen because to counter another veto, you get the Phoenix Wall to pop out the fucking after you get the information that Dizzy got shot and you want to pick Dizzy back up, you throw the wall, pop the interceptor, and then throw the rest of the util. Also, KO does hurt Veto pretty badly because it can affect through walls and interceptor needs line of sight. So for something like a bind, let's stick to where am I right now? Corrode. Uh, if Veto was playing, let's bring another Veto icon on top of this box, and you heard the interceptor go off, you just KO knife close, and it's kind of fucked because again, you have a teleport that you have to look at pretty closely. So if you were trying to get out, you'd have to flick and get the teleport animation off to get out as Veto if you're playing close. Now, obviously, that just means Veto knows not to play close, but again, that's a whole nother thing that I'm not going to go down. Just really quickly, just to sum it up, Veto could be annoying in combination with KO. Could be annoying in combination with KO. This could kind of be substituted out with Teho or ISO who have suppresses, but probably not to the same extent. Or depending on what the entire comp needs, maybe there's that. And combining ultimates, I gotta admit, I've tanked quite a few Brim ults with evolution now. Surprisingly, I thought people watched the trailer, but you can't see a damn thing, so that's kind of hard to combo. Breach and Waylay could be a combo into Veto, like somebody's taking the site and you just know you're playing close, whatever. You get the information, tell them to do the thing. All that could be things, but realistically, I think you'd be better, quote unquote, comboing Evolution with somebody else that can kind of send it. Maybe even a team that comes back and brings Reyna into the mix in place of in place of somebody. Sure, let's do that. Maybe you run it down together for the entire round. I don't know, but yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up there. That's what I think could possibly make, if so far in my head, could make Veto annoying. So yeah, if you like the video, like it. Got a comment for me, comment. And until next time, peace out, my monstrosities.